If somebody
I
wants
have
to,
something I can show if you want.
absolutely, that would be great. How much time do you need?
Well, as long as you all want to talk about it, but I did a post on LinkedIn today that got some good conversation, and it was just how to use ChatGPT and develop a personal voice using the tool so it doesn't sound like a robot.
Sure. I'll give you 15 minutes for the discussion, and we can come back to it. If more people join, we'll see how it goes. So if you want to share something, I'm starting the timer now. This looks like it changed a bit. I wonder, oh, you can see it on mine. Okay. Now, do you want to
Oh, we're
share?
going to hear about life insurance in a commercial?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you like that?
That got me to join today. I wasn't gonna come, but I did it. I'm on the road right now. I'm almost at my computer.
Yeah, no, I try to put in something, let me pause the thing. Um, I try to put in something that's related to marketing, that's of interest. Came across this. If anybody didn't see the little blurb, it's in my newsletter. There was a commercial, really good commercial by a life insurance company in New Zealand that basically, I guess it was essentially product placement or coordination with the producers of a murder mystery, very popular murder mystery series. And what they do is they have these videos of people who have died in the murder mystery, right? And they say, "If only I had life insurance." So it's
Yeah, I wanted to hear it.
Now
well,
that's content marketing.
If a fictional character in a film died, okay, well, whatever.
With AI the way it's going, I don't think it's too long before they'll actually have dead people doing commercials for life insurance.
Right, exactly. So
Well,
these are
they already are using dead people. Like I've seen a video to do with Steve Jobs, and I forget who, somebody else
I heard
doing an
they've
interview.
recreated John Lennon's voice.
Yeah, John, you can certainly take people's voices, recreate them, but this is actors.
But there are telltale markers. I've seen some of those AI things, and I'm going, no, that's not right. Something's off. You can see it if you know what you're looking for.
It'll get better. But let's hand over the floor to Keith. I'd love to hear more about what you wrote about. And, now you have 14 and a half minutes. Go for it.
I'm sorry.
All right. Well, hi, everybody. I'm Keith Reynolds, fractional CMO. I help companies develop their marketing and content strategy and develop marketing plans and do operational management to help people keep their marketing trains running on time. I'm also a writer, producer, and I've been experimenting with generative AI for over a year now. I found some startup about a year and a half ago that had this thing that just blew me away, and I got on and I wrote paragraphs, like just by putting in a few keywords and ideas, and it was intuitive and it just blew me away. So when ChatGPT came out in the fall, I dove in and got a subscription, and I've been working on it as a writer. And the two analogies I can think of are, one, it's like having a research assistant, and it can go out and do incredible work for you to help gather data and formulate ideas, but you got to be responsible for it at the end. We've heard the story of the lawyer who, basically filed cases with briefs that were just made up by ChatGPT, and the judge held them to account. And that's the way it should be. If you put your name on something, I think that's going to be the real, if you see your presence on the internet as one of needing to build trust, your content is the way to do it. And so learning this as a manager, or as a CEO, understanding how to be a better communicator yourself, as well as how to have policies in your company, are really important. So I've made it a mission to try and learn it as best I can from the way I can use it. I don't write code with it, but I posted this today, and I got a lot of I was thinking it might be controversial. The people that I interact with on LinkedIn are marketing pros. And in fact, they said, "Oh, I never thought about it that way." So I wanted, when Michael, when you said you didn't have any content today, I thought I'd share it and open it up to conversation and see what your experience is, and hopefully we all can learn something from it.
Do you want to share what you posted?
Yeah, where's
Either on the screen?
About to do that. Yeah.
You should be able to share the screen. There you go.
All right. So as somebody who came out of their career starting as a creative and then learning to manage that as a process, I've always been interested in technology and processes, right? And how if you start with your North Star idea and you have a strategy to go to market, all of the things that you do to create attention for yourself, both online with social media, advertising, PR, backlinks, as well as the things you do in person, like events, they're there to get your people into your business. And so you need to have a system to do that. And that's really the why of content from my perspective, is having a steady flow of content means you don't need to add, or you minimize your advertising because you're always engaging in a systematic way. So what I posted today was how using ChatGPT from the standpoint of using it to create content that reflects you, your brand. How do you personalize it for yourself? And so this post highlighted, let's see, where are we? Several ways to do that. This is what I wanted to share. This is the meat of it. When you're working with ChatGPT, you want to provide specific instructions. State the desired tone or style and the characteristics you want the model to emulate. For example, you can ask ChatGPT to write like you would in a casual conversation. You could mimic a specific author, or you can point it at a publication like Forbes magazine. So when I write, I oftentimes say, write it like Forbes magazine or the Wall Street Journal. And so that provides context for the learning model to start picking the tone and style of the content. You can give it examples. So when you're putting in your prompts, you can say, the next 3 entries I give you are examples of content I want you to write like. And then you can give it the question. So each time you use the chat within ChatGPT, it's a new session and it doesn't remember what you have. So each time you want to do it, you put in the examples. So you can give the model snippets or passages that you've written in your own voice. These can be sentences or paragraphs that showcase the desired style or tone the model is to adopt. 2 or 3 examples are best. So as I said, you can instruct it that the next 3 entries will be that. Another really important point is to iterate. And if you don't like what it gives you, tell it why you don't like it. So oftentimes, ChatGPT uses a lot of embellishment and hyperbole, and it just sounds hokey. And so you can say, remove the hyperbole and take out the adjectives, and it'll literally spit back what it wrote to you the first time in a much lower hype kind of voice. So if you can describe what you want different about the writing, just as you would with a research assistant, great. I really like some of these points you're making, but give it to me in a different style, or give it to me in bullet points with a headline. All of those kinds of instructions, anything you could think to give a human being as an instruction, you can do this, and it will edit for you against those instructions. And then finally, if the model's initial response isn't satisfactory, you can start over, right? At worst, and at best, just try different prompts and try and get to what you're looking for. I found also YouTube, if this interests you, I found YouTube is a really good source of finding prompt strategies for what you're trying to accomplish. And practice makes perfect. So that was kind of the essence of my post today. And it was just really fascinating to see some of the comments from nope, not going to accept it, to wow, I really was resisting it. I mean, again, these are all professional marketers. I was resisting it, but you've given me a different way to think about it, and I'll give it a try. So I don't know, what is your experience? How does that build off of what John did last week? Because I don't want to repeat.
I noticed that you have at least one writer there, Laurel Carpenter, who is she's an inactive member of the group, but no, I think it's fascinating. Give it a try. Yeah.
Coming off of last week's meeting, we had a guest speaker, Lori, and her last name's slipping my mind. I mean, not a guest speaker, a guest. And she's a writer, and so I asked the question.
I've got a meeting
about how you shouldn't use chat GPT like everybody should use it, yada yada. And I'm like, well, do you find it's a good starting point? Like sometimes you get writer's block, or you can't come up with something. You might have a thought, but it doesn't carry through to copywriting. And she says, yeah, I use it all the time. And so she's like, and I just thought that was quite a one of those double takes there. So that was interesting. But what I'm going to put in the chat for anybody who's interested, and I've shared this in the chat before. This is a free online learning prompting, and they reference ChatGPT a lot in this. But for instance, when you talk about writing a prompt, one thing it talks about in there, and it uses an example of an equation, and it asks in the beginning of the chat, solve this equation. And I don't know exactly the terminology, but if you look in it, you'll see it. And then it gave the equation, and it solved it wrong. Then it said, okay, solve the equation. It put in the equation, and then it said, solve the equation. So it's like you give the equation, you say it again, and it solved it correctly. And so there's little things you can do, especially in ChatGPT, that get it to understand you want a serious answer and not whatever it's whimsical answer of the day is, But I thought that was interesting.
Anybody else using it for writing or creating anything?
Yeah, I did a 5-part email.
I've been using ChatGPT for press releases, and I'm going to be using it for editing interviews that I'm doing. I haven't started testing it out yet. I'm really happy that I'm sorry, I don't know who posted that because I'm looking at another screen here, but that stuff about learning the prompts is really good information.
Right.
Yeah. One of the things I find it's really good for is synthesizing information. Like I've fed in like 2 or 3 paragraphs around something, and saying, take these 3 paragraphs and create one paragraph that puts all that information together, and then we'll synthesize that information put together. That I found it's particularly good. The other thing I did is, and I haven't implemented it yet, but I had it give me a content calendar for creating posts like on LinkedIn around a particular topic of like a content development plan. And it gives me, we'll do a video this day, an image this day, talk about this, talk about that, to bring people kind of through a journey of like getting to know you. I was doing this for my wife, who's a psychotherapist who's doing ketamine-assisted psychotherapy. And it was like, introducing people to the idea of therapy and ketamine-assisted psychotherapy, to the point of like, oh, and if this is something you're interested now, you contact us. And so while I have to fill in the details for each one, it did give me a nice overall structure. I'll tweak it a little bit, but it saves like so much time.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I just wrote
ketamine-assisted psychotherapy. That's interesting.
Have you heard of Claude? Anybody?
Claude? No. What is that?
So Claude is like ChatGPT, but 5 times as large in terms of the information you can feed into it. So it has 100,000 tokens as opposed to 20,000. Forget about how you define a token. It's just the fact is it's 5 times larger of a model. So you could, what I found was happening in ChatGPT, Claude, similar thing, is that it forgets earlier pieces of your conversation. Like if you keep going and you're having a continuous conversation, it loses track and it can't go back to the beginning as well as you would want it to. So like I'm trying to write a book and I create an outline for the book and it's not remembering things, and that's one part of it. The other part of it is if you give it a prompt and you say, by example this, it focuses too much on the example. So then you have to tell it, I'm just giving you the example as an example, that should not be part of your response type of thing. So there's a lot of coaxing to educate the system. But Claude is really cool because you can feed in like dozens and dozens of pages and it can deal with it, as opposed to ChatGPT. And ChatGPT also, if you're using the API, what you feed and what you get combined, that's the amount of tokens that you get to use in a response. So it's
So is tokens a certain limit on usage?
Yeah, it's a mix between how many characters you're typing in and the amount of energy it has to use to solve the problem that you're giving it. So it's not, I don't think it's a direct correlation of how many words you put in. That's why sometimes you'll find that when it's giving you a response, it stops in the middle and you have to write continue for it to keep going.
Right.
And part of the reason is it's not that the reason it's used up its tokens, but the tokens are just characters.
Can you share the link for Claude?
The best place to do it is go to poe.com and buy a subscription there. It's a couple $100 for the year. With that, you get 800. I think you get 100. Pick the number, but you get ChatGPT 4 and Claude all together, so you don't have to have two subscriptions. But your GPT-4 is limited to a certain number of questions in the month that conversations that you can. I don't know if the conversations or questions within a conversation. Prompts.
They do it. What I've seen is it's limited to queries per hour, your prompts per hour.
That's GPT directly, 25 every 3 hours. But with Poe, you're limited to a certain number of queries for the month. But the point is, you're buying Poe in order to get Claude. So it's worth the $200 to get Claude because Claude is so it's 5 times the size. That's it. I mean, even GPT 3 to 3.5 to 4 was a difference of magnitude of how much information is in the database, right? But now Claude is even bigger because it's not just the data, it's also how much you can put in.
Great. All right, let's wind it up there. Since we have 10 people and we've got enough time, why don't I give it up to 3 minutes per person? And this I will drop in the everybody should be listed here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then me. So we'll just go around. If you want to add a little bit more context, since you have a little bit more time about what you do, what you've done, or tell a short story that will capture people's attention, that would be great. So let's start. We don't have any guests today. So let's start off with Nathan Segal.
Okay. Well, that's pretty straightforward. So Nathan Segal, I'm transplanted Canadian coming to you from a little town called Mexico. What's that?
Yeah, if everybody put themselves on mute, besides the speaker, that would be great.
Okay. Anyway, so my thing is ghostwriting and helping people transform their content into books. And I have a process that I use, which will help you save up to 80% of the time that it would take to write a book, as well as the cost of doing so. And I've put the details in the chat. Essentially, what I've done is created a 6-minute video of my process, which gives you a good idea of how things work. But essentially, the ways that I am able to help people save so much time, one way is by dictation, where you would dictate your book into a recording device and send it off for transcribing. Another way is to use dictation with a program like Dragon Naturally Speaking or MS Word and type out your book that way. And then the last way, which is my favorite way of doing things, is interviewing people. So you want to know more, the information's in the chat, and you want to know, excuse me, if you want to know more beyond that, book a call with me and I'll explain it to you in more depth. Thanks very much.
Can you give us an example or two of some books you've written, sir, from people or help them write?
I can't. I'm a ghostwriter. I
Oh.
can't. That would be violating the confidence of my clients, and I could get sued for that. So,
Okay,
sorry, I can't do that.
no problem. All right. Any questions for Nathan?
Nathan, I was going to mention earlier, but the conversation went a different direction. You said you were thinking of starting to use it for your interviews. I've, for about 6 months, been dropping, first I get interview recording transcribed, and then I put the transcription into ChatGPT and ask it for a summary. And it's been, it comes up with nuggets that are incredible.
I won't be using it for a summary because I'm using the full transcripts for books, but I just want to see what ChatGPT will do. I mean, I used it a while ago for some press releases, and I really like the results. I mean, the first one I did, I only had to do like 5 or 6 minor corrections. I remember sending it off to my partner at the time, and he looked, he looked at it and he said, "You missed a period," and that was it. And it corrected that. And I mean, I haven't tested it to any great degree, but I will be with a new book project I'm working on. But thank you for the feedback. And a summary is probably a good idea too. I hadn't thought about that.
All right. Thank you. All right. Russ Bruzzano, take it away.
Hi, you guys know me. I'm Russ Bruzzano. My company is RGB Design Group. I am a graphic designer, website designer. So anything that can be done on the internet or on print, billboards, you know, just about anything that can be designed for marketing purposes. That's what I do. Been doing it for over 25 years. Started off as a freelance designer, did that for almost a dozen years, and then moved into my own business. So needless to say, I don't work on location. That's really the big difference between what I used to do and what I do now is I no longer work on location. And I've been doing that since 2004, so for quite a while. Yep, I mean, other than that, I don't really have a lot to share, except, you know, as far as what I'm doing recently. Just back on the AI, because I find that pretty fascinating, is I did do a 5-part email series. I asked ChatGPT to write for me. And to Keith's point is I had to ask it probably about 8 times to rewrite it, because it kept coming back as a very, I don't know, computer generated series, which I didn't like. And I kept asking it, write it like a human, write it like it's a conversation. I just kept asking it until it finally wrote it the way I want. And I've been getting responses from it, which is good. But just yesterday, I got a response from somebody, the first one I sent out, and it was one of these, "Thanks for your email. It's great to know you're out there. We don't have anything going on right now, but I'll keep you in mind." And I'm always like, how do I respond to that? You know, because my instant reaction is, you know, screw you. But, you know, obviously you can't really say that. It's not a business thing to do. So I said, ChatGPT today, I said, this was the initial email. I said, I want a response. And, you know, I gave a couple of instructions, and I said, now write the response. And if you're interested, so this is a response I sent back. I'll put it in the chat, which I thought worked. I thought it basically said what I wanted it to say. And, you know, we'll see so he took him a day to get back to me. So we'll see if he responds to that or not. But I thought it was very good, to the point, because otherwise I would have said like 2 words. I was like, thanks for, you know, reaching out, or thanks for answering, and left it at that. And I'm not really good at giving him something to think about. So I thought that was really interesting.
It's great. Looks good. You know, it looks like you did put some effort into it, and using ChatGPT.
Between that and using that prompt engineering course, which I've been working on as well, really helped me out.
Prompt engineering, you're taking it. Where are you taking that?
I put it in the chat.
Okay. Oh, right. That's right. The learn prompting.
Right. .org. So I mean, it's free, and I think it's free unless you want to actually use their onboard prompt, because it says, you know, even when you get the key, it says no credit card on file. So that's not good for me. But what I did do is I opened up ChatGPT, and use that to do the course, and it worked.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, Matthew Asbell.
Hey everybody, I'm Matthew Asbell. This is I think my second meeting thus far, but I know a few people on here from other walks of life or who were introduced to me by way of this group. I'm an intellectual property attorney, so I'm mostly focused on innovations, what people create, and what trouble they get for copying what other people create. I thought maybe I would tell you about a couple current things I'm handling, which are kind of fun. One is sort of very basic. It's a US, it's actually like a soap opera star who launched her own cosmetics brand and gave up on it and never got to register her trademark in the United States until I realized that the person who had blocked her, that company had ceased to exist, and so I'm now helping her do that. But the more fun ones are I've got a client that is making educational videos on YouTube and elsewhere using footage from television shows and movies, and has been doing that successfully for several years, only to find out after the fact that they're infringing these major networks, major companies' content. These are well-known shows and TV shows and movies that generate millions of dollars. And so I'm in the process of negotiating them out of that problem, and hopefully negotiating a license so that they'll be able to actually continue to operate. Their business will survive. I'm also on the other side representing a Turkish airline in forcing a television series to stop using a particular, the airline's brand in a negative light. And I'm helping a food distributor in Mexico overcome some refusals based on other companies that use the same name. So those are sort of the kinds of examples of things that I do involving sometimes patents or trademarks or copyrights or publicity rights. I thought I'll cede the rest of my time.
Right. Thank you very much. Cancel. Jason Ciment. You're on mute, Jason.
I got it. Okay. So Rajiv is funny. He just became blonde. Okay, so I'm out in LA. I run a marketing agency. It's called Get Visible. I've been doing this since the late 90s, I suspect. I ran an e-commerce business after law school, and then bought the software company that built my website. So we own an e-commerce platform that competes with Magento and Shopify, but not straight for like a cookie cutter stuff, but much more sophisticated. So we can deliver projects at probably 25 cents on the dollar for e-commerce stuff, for sophisticated things. And we now have 16 people in the agency doing WordPress websites, search engine rankings, LinkedIn outreach, and pay-per-click management and social media, all that kind of stuff. AI is very exciting, trying to figure out how to integrate that beyond just the ChatGPT. I've been doing a few lectures on AI. I have another one coming on July 3rd. I have two coming in July. One on the 13th, I think one on the 17th. The one on the 13th is AI for lawyers. And the one on the 17th is just for CEOs of larger companies, how they can just figure out what the hell to do. It's really crazy. I'll share with you really funny about COVID and the impact. We closed our office in February, finally, no more rent. And my partner sold his house and is moving to Minnesota from Phoenix. So he's getting really cold, and he's been with his wife and kids. And I was away for a month, 2 weeks in Israel, then I came back for a week, and then 2 weeks with 2 kids in Montana and Wyoming. I only told 2 of my employees that I was gone, and no shakeup in the business whatsoever. It was wild. So I love remote, and my people are very happy now that they do not have to come to the office anymore. So that leaves me a minute to give to anybody else. That's what I got, unless you have questions.
Has that freed you up to hire people in a different footprint geographically?
Yes, well, for two things. First of all, the rent that I thought I would get all that money back, because we were spending like $5,000 a month, it's already gone because we hired more people. And we have to, I told my partner we should sell our agency before we give all the raises. I have to have a raise conversation in an hour now with one, and I have 3 people to give bumps to, but the way it happened is first we started hiring in the Philippines and we've paired them up with someone in America. So they're not on their own. So that's a big savings right there. 4 people moved from Phoenix and we kept them. So one's in New York, one's in Colorado, one's in Seattle. So that helped with that. The next hire won't be in Phoenix. So the answer is yes. Might be Minnesota just because he moved there, but I don't know. I don't think so.
Very cool. Thank you. And Jason is always sort of giving me great ideas. He's always on top of sort of the latest technology and marketing. So great guy to know for that. Keith Reynolds.
Hi, everybody. I think I did some of my introduction, so if anyone wants additional time, let me know. Started out my career as IBM's first collegiate rep to battle the evil Apple, who was putting college students in the college bookstore with black turtleneck sweaters and talking about how cool a computer could be. And so I ran around the country doing trainings on college campuses and took IBM's strategic marketing internal training. And it's been a great career. I've had many iterations. I got into content marketing by accident when a startup I worked on in 2006 to 2011, we just really ran out of gas after the financial debacle of 2008, 2009. And I started a blog, and we were in a Homeland Security software space. And one day I got an email asking if I'd testify to Congress. And that was my, this content marketing that HubSpot's been talking about is pretty interesting. I'll give it a try. And so I've really worked hard over the last 10 years to take the fractional CMO and develop it into a niche of a fractional content marketing officer, and really help companies design systems, as I showed that flow chart, that connect the things you do out on the internet and the content that you have to the training of the people in your organization, and to help you build the systems so that you can do that. And that's what I love to do. And I'll turn it over to somebody else if you want to share more. Thank you.
Are you going to change your process at all to include sort of how to add AI into the content development process?
Well, real quick, in the book that I developed, come on. This is a process that I've been implementing for a dozen years. How to develop integrated content marketing so that the content you produces content for your salespeople, basically, and works from the bottom up from there. And it's a methodology that I implement for clients and help them understand how to build it into their business. And so the point to your question is, it's already there. And so this has been, I've been using this since before we were really getting into social media in our marketing. It could be your CRM, it can be your marketing automation, landing pages, and email automation, but you have to have that part of your strategy.
All right, cool. Thank you. We had one more person joining, Joan Abraham. I'll add her at the end. I think we have enough time. Mark Herre, you're up.
Great. Thank you for your presentation, Keith. I'm just a newbie at this AI stuff. I post in 2 or 3 different Facebook groups every day, which I started for a hobby of mine, and I've been doing it daily. So I wake up early in the morning at 5 o'clock, and I'm the old-fashioned type of writer. I want to come up with a formulated question, get engagement, and I really enjoy doing that. It's kind of my breakaway, what I do. I do SEO for SEO companies, a lot of SEO, a lot of responsibility. And in the middle of it all, I might have stacked 15 emails and I might have an hour to sneak away to drop this computer and go upstairs and just write. And that's my relief. So I'm always a big, I'm learning AI like nobody's business. One of my personal techniques I've learned in AI is finding the irony in things. And so I train ChatGPT to get to, because I see irony in a lot of things. And then I ask the question, and then I say, do you see the irony in this? And ChatGPT kind of just pauses for a second. I can see it just rubbing its beard, AI beard, and go, yeah, I do see the irony in this. And it's almost like I'm training a study buddy along my side. And I just think it's just fascinating how sometimes I have that AI next to me all the time. So I still haven't figured out how to make any money, but it's just a 5 o'clock. Who else has a 5 o'clock study buddy? You know, I just love to wake up that time. Anyway, I'm solving problems for digital marketers, doing SEO for SEO companies, and I'm making people scale and grow their businesses. If you want to do a one-to-one with me and learn to champion and be a champion networker, I'd love to do that with you.
Cool. And if you want to learn anything about Church of Latter-day Saints, Mark knows a lot about it. Taught me anyway.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. It helped to be there. That is in Salt Lake City.
Oh, yeah. Come to Salt Lake and get a tour.
We have to congratulate Mark on his daughter's wedding. I had to add that.
Ah, congratulations, Mark.
I have 400 tacos on Thursday with the taco truck I bought. And unlimited drinks. So if you guys are in the area, you're all welcome to my daughter's reception locally here. I've been in Canada for almost 10 days and doing the local thing this Thursday. So
nice.
Yeah, come for some tacos, or I'll have at least 400 pounds, you know, all the taco meat ready to serve later on.
All right.
I think we're only going to have about 90 people, and I have food for 400. So,
all right, Sam Liebowitz.
All right, thank you, Michael. Sam Liebowitz, talkradio.nyc. You guys know we're the talk radio station. It's so good to see Matthew here because he's very modest, but he's actually doing a show on our network now called Intangify, which is a wonderful show about the intangible assets of your business. And again, this is a wonderful example of how you can use a show to really build your brand and build up your business by offering great content. That's not the content that's your billable hours, right, Matthew? You're not giving away the farm, but you're sharing your knowledge in a way that then people get to understand, like, oh, this guy really knows what he talks about. And Matthew's had some amazing guests on his show. And that's another way in which you use a show to build your business, by inviting people on who are good potential joint venture partners, referral partners, or people that, you know, you think might just come across the people that you would want to work with. So people have a tendency to think like, oh, I'm doing a show, I have to get 1 million people listening to me, and my next client is going to come from someone listening to my show. That is such a limited view of the potential of doing an online show. I've had people reinvigorate industry contacts and get projects through those industry contacts on their show. I've had people get sponsors on their show. They built up their audience, and actually was the sponsors that they ended up making more money than they spent on their show. I've had people being quoted in industry blogs as a top thought leader to follow because of their show. And one of the interesting parts of that blog was they said, and if you like our 9 other thought leaders, they've all been guests on that guy's show. So there's a certain, I call it the halo effect, of when you invite like amazing guests onto your show, people think you know everything about everything. Like, you don't even have to be the expert. Like Tony, who did the nonprofit show, he did 2 things for nonprofits. He did charity registration and planned giving. That was it. But he had on great people who talked about technology for nonprofits, board governance. And all kinds of prospect research and all kinds of other things. And people would start contacting, hey, Tony, can you do a marketing plan for me? No, I don't do that, but let me refer you out to someone who does. Oh, Tony, can you do this for me? No, I don't do that. Let me refer you out. Because when you have great people on your show, people think you're the expert, not them.
That's great. It reminds me of one of the lyrics of If I Were a Rich Man. So, I don't know if you know that lyric when he says, when you're rich, they think you really know.
Right.
There
Exactly.
you go. So when you're on talkradio.nyc, they think you really know.
So Sam, how many shows do you actually push out?
We're about to get a new show coming on in a couple of weeks. But we have that'll make our 7th show. One show's on hiatus, that would be 8, but I have the capacity to bring on tons more shows. And the wonderful thing about what I do is extremely scalable. So like once I fill up the main channel, I can start splitting things off into different channels. So we'll have the business channel, the health and wellness channel, the personal and spiritual development channel, the nonprofit channel. So I'm looking to bring on as many hosts as I can grab a hold of their coach.
Does someone pay to be a host, or you take care of them? They pay.
No, they pay because we're providing a done for you service for them, where we handle everything from the promotion to the analytics, the technology, getting them up on all the podcasting platforms, where they just kind of show up, do their genius and leave, and we handle the rest.
And what's your monthly cost again?
I do 12-week agreements, and 12 weeks is $3,000.
Very reasonable.
Oh, that's actually fairly cheap.
It is extremely reasonable. I was talking to someone the other day
We
who
call it
told me,
reasonable, not cheap.
yeah, well, reasonable.
value.
I talked to someone the other day who said they talked to someone else who's offering a similar service, was 4 times what I charge.
Wow. All right, we should move on because we only have Michael Korn since you just chimed in. Go for it.
I am Michael Korn. I'm a financial advisor, and the reason I was here today is I wanted to see the life insurance commercial. That'll give you some idea of what I do. I grew up in advertising. I was a partner in a firm for 10 years, built it to 70 people, sold it, and I was the accidental business owner. I was the guy who's like, head down, build the business. I'll take care of all that shit later. Retirement, investment, benefits, and insurance, and all that crap. I'll deal with that later. Now is later, and you didn't get it all done when you built the business, and things happen. And we sold the business. It did some other things in the .com world, did some craziness. I understand that 30-something business owner, 40-something business owner, and the challenges. We do personal planning, investments, retirement, insurance, things people just tend to put off. And we do advanced planning, business planning stuff, buy, sell, business continuity, succession. And for the mature business owner, exit planning and retirement distribution planning. I got to tell you, these are all important things. I deal with a lot of agency guys. One of my largest clients is a digital marketing company. They don't get these things done without a little push. So I'm here to give you a little push. Life insurance is important. It's one piece of the puzzle. Retirement is important. I'm all set. I got my retirement, my investments all set. That's not it. There are things that need to be done and can be done. So I encourage you to think about it. Jason, as far as giving people raises, there are other ways to make people stick. And we do executive benefits, executive bonuses. I'm working on a program in Hawaii right now, of all places. Long story as to why I'm doing that, but not to just visit. But we're going to do some executive benefits for them, and lock golden handcuffs, deferred compensation, et cetera, et cetera. If you guys are interested, I posted up in the chat box earlier 5 retirement mistakes business owners make. Interesting read. If you can't get it, you can contact me, and my website is now posted up on the website. And if you read it and feel some synergy with what I'm saying, let me know.
Thank you very much. And
So I don't get to see the commercial.
No, it's on. You have to click the links in the newsletter. I have it like there's 3 or 4 links to that commercial. You got to click links.
So that would help
All
if
right.
I read the goddamn thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. You got to read it and click the links. All right.
My bad.
Rajiv.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to try and share my screen this time. Last time the audio didn't, transfer. So hopefully this works. Let's see if this works this time around. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So hopefully you'll hear it too this time. So this is our new commercial for Lily Launch Tools. Why don't you give it a listen and tell us what you think?
How will I get everything done on time?
I need to prepare for a senior management presentation on our launch process. Where is the information?
So many Excel sheets to look at. Why can't it all be in one place? Get your product launch back on track with Lily Launch Tools. Launch better, faster, and smoother. Start for free today at lilylaunchtools.com/signup. No credit card needed.
Yeah, so
Who's
that
your
was, yeah.
Who's your target? Who's your target audience?
Target audience is the product managers, people that are doing product launch.
Across multiple industries?
Well, we're trying to do a niche down in pharma and life science and medical device as our core industry. But that being said, this has utility outside of pharma as well. It's broadly for product launch, and obviously product launch is not exclusive to pharma. So it's pharma and non-pharma.
And you have they created their own. It's their own.
No, what platform are they going to show it on? Like, where are you going to distribute it?
Oh, you mean the video?
Yeah.
Oh, it's already on YouTube.
So YouTube is its main viewing source.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be on YouTube. It's going to be on our website. It'll potentially be in emails as well as GIFs. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so and also we're about to do an exciting new sort of redesign, a new strategy, a new take. And when that rolls out or after it rolls out, I'll let everyone know so you can see like the big reveal, as well as some more exciting, slightly crazy things, but hey, it's like you only live once, and why not like try something different and see if it works, and that usually leads to other things. So that's the thinking that we're kind of like operating with.
Rajiv, which are you using now for your Zoom thing?
What was that?
What are you using now for your animation thing on Zoom?
Oh, that's the native thing that comes inside of Zoom.
I never
used it. Yeah, it's like default inside of Zoom. Yeah. And the only reason the avatar has a beard is so that I don't look like I'm 10 years old.
Well, you look like a modern version of Sideshow Bob.
All right, we're running low on time. All right, Joni. Okay. Go for it. Joni.
I have some very exciting news. I'm so glad I made it in time. Wait, did you say Joni?
Yes, you. Go ahead.
Well, you all know that we create content for social media. And I just found out today that we're going to be offering not only the original storytelling, but we're going to be offering the platforms and the coding for telling the stories in NFT format, providing NFTs with the client's product and creating a metaverse if they need it. My financial advisor is in India and works with all these tech companies that he's gotten money for. And when I was telling him how the fashion industry is so glommed onto NFTs in the metaverse, because that's where the action is right now as far as spending money on new projects. He said, we can make that for everybody and we can have it ready by November 1st. We can have a platform ready by November 1st so that brands can use these stories either in a metaverse on NFTs with their products or in their social channels for the holiday selling season. And I'm very excited about that because I think it's the marriage of technology and content in a very unique way and definitely looking towards the future.
Oh, good. We'd love to learn. Will you be able to preview it before November?
Probably not. I signed up for a presentation in a couple of weeks and I was going to show off our new vidbits, and now I can talk about them in that context. But It's going to take a while to build because of the way it's being paid for and everything else, but we can start selling it now for November 1st launch.
Wonderful. Congratulations. That's great.
Yeah.
To learn
Oh,
about
thanks. I was dying to bounce that off you guys when I came in on time. I'm so excited about that. I really feel like we just discovered the wheel.
Well, I'd like to learn more about how, fashion industry is using NFTs.
Oh my God. They're like crazed with it in 27 seconds. The big brands that have the money are creating all these NFTs like Kate Spade and Balenciaga. And then Balenciaga is selling their NFTs for like $2,500 because they have to keep it in, but you can have yourself in a Balenciaga dress in the form of an NFT.
Oh, I see. So it's an avatar that's unique. It's an NFT,
right? It's wearing the
avatar.
brand's product.
All right, cool. That's very neat. All right, I'll go. We only do have 3 minutes left. I haven't left anybody out, have I? Okay. So as you know, my name is Michael Bendit. I run, in addition to this, my software development resources business, where I represent about a dozen software development teams. And I'm going to cut it short because I also want to show you something else on the platform, the new platform, which is launched. But in short, great introductions for me are digital marketing agencies that don't always have the internal resources to do the software development. Where they're focused more on design, strategy, content, SEO, other things, and they either can't afford to employ a full-time programming resource, or they have more work for the resources that they do have than they can handle. Those are great leads for me. We also do a lot of work with startups and small companies who have, either their core product needs to be built or upgraded, or they've got some sort of back office system that's custom. I want to share with you. I've been talking about the new version of the website. It has launched, and one of the benefits of it is the member directory. So you can now search for, if I search for Russell, Russell's, it should come up. There he is, Russell Bruzzano. So the way you get to this is once you log in, so you go to my account. So I'm logged in as software development resources. There's my mugshot. There's your user profile, which is about you, your business profile, which is about your business. If you go down to find members, that will take you to that page that I was just on. And you can find members with keywords, and you can also filter down by region if you know where they are. And that's now, I could also put in their business, anything that is in their profile is searchable. So now if you remember somebody's name but don't remember their business, log in and put in things like their first name. And Rajiv here will show up, I hope. There he is in real life, as opposed to an avatar. And in addition to that, you can chat with people. It will show up in their email. So if I put in a little chat here, say, hi, Rajiv, this is from the chat tool on TRN, should reach you via email as well. That'll send it to him, and we could have an ongoing chat. So the tool has launched. What's that?
Can you reply by email?
Yeah, you can reply by email, or you can go into the chat system.
Very cool.
Very cool.
So definitely, log in, check it out, upgrade, update your information if there's something that's missing, and play with it, because that's you'll get used to it. I will be adding more functionality over time. We're now a minute over. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Keith, for leading that discussion on using AI for content. And now would be a great time to download the chat. Just open your chat, click those 3 buttons and click download or save chat, which is the first option. By the way, Michael Korn reminded me, read the newsletter. It's always got some interesting stuff, interesting links. Tells you when the next meetings are, tells you when there are openings for showcases. We do have open showcases. I think next week there's one that's open. After that, we've got a couple that, let's see, on the 11th, Mark Troy, who doesn't show up all that much, but he's got a lead gen company, and Joni is on the 19th. So
It
after
does help
that,
to read things.
so we do have an opening on July 5th. That's next Wednesday at 11 a.m. If somebody wants to do the showcase, just sign up on the sign up zone. Thank you all. And
thank you. I'm sorry I
Thank
missed.
you.
Well, I'm so sorry I missed the meeting. I had another meeting come up.
No problem. I'm glad
What
made
did
it
you
at the
talk
end.
about? Did you talk about AI again?
Yeah, we talked about AI in the world of content marketing. But I'll post it. I'll have the recording on the TRN channel, and I have a link to that in all of my newsletters.
Oh, good.
So
Okay,
all right.
yeah.
Usually that goes up. All right. Take care.
Joni,